This pathetic old fool will lose his precious daughter, too, my daughter's fiancé bragged in Arabic while his family celebrated around our dinner table. He thought I didn't understand, until I replied in perfect Arabic. Moments later, the police arrived. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up 6 months to when this nightmare began. My name is David Mitchell, and I'm a 52-year-old mechanical engineer from Cleveland. I raised 2 kids on my own after my wife Linda walked out 15 years ago. I worked double shifts, skipped meals, and postponed dreams so Jason and Emma could have everything they needed. College tuition, cars, down payments on their first apartments, I gave it all. The wedding was supposed to be a happy day. Jason, my 27-year-old son, was marrying Samantha Torres, a 23-year-old dental assistant he'd met at a conference. The venue was the Grand East Side Hotel, far fancier than anything I could have afforded. Samantha's parents paid for everything, which should have been my first warning. I stood in the reception hall wearing my only decent suit, watching 300 guests drink champagne that cost more than my monthly mortgage. Jason hadn't spoken to me all day, except to ask where I'd parked so I wouldn't block the valet area. David. My ex-wife Linda appeared beside me, wearing a silver dress that probably cost $1,000. Her new husband Mark hovered behind her, looking uncomfortable. Isn't this wonderful? It's something, I said. Don't be bitter. Jason deserves happiness. I'm not bitter, I'm just observing. Linda's smile tightened. You should try being more supportive. Samantha's family is very traditional. First impressions matter. Before I could respond, Samantha appeared. She wore her wedding dress like armor, every detail perfect. David, we need to talk. Sure. What's up? Your apartment. The one you're letting Jason use while he saves for a house. What about it? We need the keys. Today. I blinked. Jason has keys. He's been living there for 6 months. No, I mean, we need your keys. All of them. And we need you to sign transfer papers. Transfer papers? Jason didn't tell you? We're taking over the lease. You'll need to remove yourself as a tenant. My apartment. The 2-bedroom place I'd rented for 12 years. The place where I'd raised my kids after Linda left. Where Emma still kept boxes of her childhood things in the spare closet. That apartment is in my name, I said carefully. I'm letting Jason stay there temporarily while he gets established. Samantha's eyes narrowed. He is established. We're married now. We need our own space without you controlling everything. I'm not controlling anything. I'm just not ready to give up my apartment. You don't even live there anymore. You moved to that sad little studio 6 months ago. Because Jason needed space. Temporarily. Well, temporary is over. Give me the keys. I felt the entire room watching us. The music had stopped. Jason appeared beside his new wife, his face red. Dad, just do what she's asking. Don't make a scene. I'm not making a scene. I'm asking what's happening with my apartment. It's not your apartment anymore. I've been paying the rent. With money I've been giving you for rent. Jason's jaw clenched. You're embarrassing me. Give Samantha the keys. No. Samantha's hand moved so fast I barely saw it coming. The slap echoed through the silent ballroom. My cheek burned. 300 people gasped. I stood very still, feeling the heat spread across my face. Then I smiled. Ana afham kul kalima kultaha, I said in perfect Arabic. I understand every word you said. Samantha went white. Kol shay kulta hawla abi, kol al-khitat. Everything you said about my father, all the plans. Because here's what nobody knew. I'd spent 3 years in Jordan as a contractor, working on water treatment facilities. I'd learned Arabic from my co-workers, lived with local families, became fluent. Jason knew this. He'd been 8 years old when I'd returned. But apparently, he'd never told his wife. The Torres family table erupted in chaos. Samantha's father stood up, shouting in Arabic. Her mother grabbed his arm. Jason stared at me like I'd pulled a grenade. "You speak Arabic?" he whispered. Fluently. Which means I understood everything Samantha and her family said during the rehearsal dinner last night. About the stupid old man who would be easy to push out. About taking the apartment, then going after my house. About how I'm too weak to fight back. Samantha recovered quickly. "You're lying. You're making things up because you're jealous. Your brother said, and I quote, 'The old fool will sign anything if Jason asks nicely. Then we take the house too.' Your mother agreed it was the perfect plan." Samantha's mother made a strangled sound. "You're insane," Jason said, but his voice shook. "You're ruining my wedding with paranoid fantasies." "Am I?" I pulled out my phone. "Because I recorded the whole conversation. Clear audio. 32 minutes of your new in-laws discussing how to strip me of everything I own." The room exploded. Jason lunged for my phone. I stepped back, and he stumbled into a dessert table. Samantha screamed. Her father started shouting in Arabic again, this time curse words that would make a sailor blush. And that's when the police arrived. Samantha had called them, claiming I'd threatened her. 2 officers pushed through the crowd, hands on their belts. "Sir, we need you to come with us," the older cop said. "Certainly." I held out my wrists. "But before I do, you should know that this woman assaulted me in front of 300 witnesses, and I have audio evidence of her family planning to commit fraud." The younger cop frowned. "Fraud?" "Identity theft, actually. Attempting to forge my signature on property transfer documents." I gestured to Samantha's brother, who was trying to slip out a side door. "That gentleman has the fake documents in his jacket pocket. Left inside panel, cream-colored folder." The cops exchanged glances. The older one nodded to his partner, who moved toward Samantha's brother. "This is harassment," Samantha shrieked. "He's lying about everything. He's trying to ruin our wedding." "Ma'am, did you slap this man?" "He deserved it. He was being disrespectful." "That's assault. And sir, can we see this audio recording?" I handed over my phone. The cops listened. Their expressions went from skeptical to serious to angry. When they found the forged documents in the brother's jacket, exactly where I'd said, the entire Torres family tried to leave at once. It didn't work. 3 more police cars arrived. Samantha, her brother, and her father were arrested for conspiracy to commit fraud. Jason stood in the middle of his ruined reception, watching his new wife being put in handcuffs. "Dad," he said, turning to me. "Dad, fix this, please. This is all a misunderstanding." I looked at my son, really looked at him. His expensive haircut, his custom-tailored tuxedo, his Rolex watch, all purchased with money he'd guilt-tripped from me over the years. Money for emergencies that never seemed to get paid back. "No," I said. "What?" "I said no. Figure it out yourself." "You can't do this. You're my father." "I was your father. Now I'm just the fool you tried to rob." I walked out of that ballroom and didn't look back. Before we go any further, take a second to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And tell us in the comments, what would you do in this situation? The story hit the local news by Monday morning. Wedding ends in arrest after elaborate fraud scheme exposed. Jason's face was on every channel. My phone rang constantly, but I didn't answer. I sat in my studio apartment, 400 square feet of everything I had left, and watched my life implode on a 19-inch TV. Emma called first, my 24-year-old daughter, the one person I thought might understand. "Dad, what happened? Jason won't talk to me, and the internet is saying crazy things." I told her everything. The Arabic conversation at the rehearsal dinner, the slap, the recordings, the arrests. Silence stretched between us. "Emma? Why didn't you just give them the apartment? It would have been easier." My chest went tight. "Because it's mine. Because they were trying to steal from me." "Jason said you were living in some tiny place anyway. What do you need 2 apartments for?" "I don't have 2 apartments. I moved out of mine so Jason could save money." He was supposed to be there temporarily. Well, maybe he needed more time. You're his dad. You're supposed to help. Help is different from being robbed, Emma. Oh my God, you're so dramatic. Nobody was robbing you. They just wanted to take over the lease. By forging my signature. You don't know that's what they were going to do. You just heard some conversation and freaked out. I felt something crack inside my chest. I have recordings, Emma. Clear audio of them planning to commit fraud. The police arrested 3 people based on evidence I provided. Because you pressed charges. You could have just talked to Jason like a normal person instead of getting everyone arrested at his wedding. Do you know how humiliated he is? He should be humiliated. He tried to steal from his own father. You're unbelievable. I have to go. I have a meeting. Emma, wait. I sat there holding my silent phone, feeling the last piece of my family slip away. The next call came Tuesday. A man's voice, smooth and confident. Mr. Mitchell, my name is Victor Reeves. I'm an attorney specializing in family law and fraud cases. I'd like to discuss your situation. I don't need an attorney. The police handled everything. The police handled the criminal case. But you need to protect yourself from civil action. Your son and daughter-in-law will likely sue you for emotional distress, reputational damage, maybe defamation. You need representation. I told the truth. You can't be sued for telling the truth. Victor laughed softly. Oh, Mr. Mitchell, you absolutely can. And with a good attorney and sympathetic jury, your son could take everything you have left. My stomach dropped. What? Think about it. Young couple, their wedding ruined by an angry father. Yes, charges were filed, but charges can be dropped. Meanwhile, you publicly humiliated them, cost them thousands in legal fees, destroyed relationships with extended family. A decent attorney could paint you as a vindictive old man who overreacted to a family disagreement. They tried to steal my apartment. You heard a conversation in Arabic, a language you conveniently never told them you spoke, and jumped to conclusions. That's how they'll frame it. Misunderstanding plus paranoia plus public humiliation equals a very expensive lawsuit. I closed my eyes. How much do you charge? For you? Nothing up front. I work on contingency for cases like this, but I'll need full access to all your evidence, recordings, everything, and I'll need you to trust me completely. Something in his voice made my skin crawl. But what choice did I have? Fine. When can we meet? Tomorrow, 2 p.m., my office downtown. He hung up before I could ask the address. Victor Reeves's office occupied the 15th floor of a glass tower on Euclid Avenue. The reception area had marble floors and abstract art that probably cost more than my car. The receptionist, a young woman with perfect makeup, barely looked at me. Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Reeves will see you now. His office had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Erie. Victor stood behind a massive mahogany desk, mid-40s, silver-streaked hair, expensive suit. He smiled like a shark. David. May I call you David? Sure. Sit, please. He gestured to a leather chair. Tell me everything. I went through the story again. The apartment, the wedding, the Arabic conversation, the arrests, Emma's call. Victor listened without interrupting, his fingers steepled under his chin. When I finished, he leaned back. You're in serious trouble. Why? I'm the victim here. The criminal case will probably stick. The forged documents are solid evidence. But your son will claim he knew nothing about his in-laws' plan. He'll say he was trying to take over the apartment legitimately, and you misunderstood everything. His wife will take a plea deal, do community service, pay a fine. Then they'll both sue you for ruining their reputations. That's insane. That's American civil law, and here's the real problem. Your daughter is now on their side, which means they have a sympathetic witness who will testify that you've always been controlling and paranoid. Emma doesn't believe that. Doesn't matter what she believes. Matters what she'll say on a witness stand when her brother's attorney asks the right questions. Has your father always been suspicious of your brother's relationships? Did he try to control where Jason lived? Did he ever make negative comments about Samantha before the wedding? By the time they're done, you'll look like the villain. My hands clenched on the armrests. So what do I do? Victor smiled. You go on offense. You don't wait for them to sue. You destroy their ability to sue. Systematically dismantle every aspect of their lives until they're too busy surviving to think about legal action. What are you talking about? I'm talking about using everything you know against them. Jason's business, his reputation, his finances, all of it is vulnerable. And I can help you exploit those vulnerabilities. That's revenge. That's not legal defense. It's preemptive protection, and it's completely legal as long as we do it right. He leaned forward. Tell me about Jason's business. What does he do? He's a pharmaceutical sales rep, makes decent money. Does he follow every regulation, every protocol, or does he cut corners to make his numbers? I thought about the conversations I'd overheard over the years. Jason bragging about creative expense reports, jokes about doctors who loved free trips to conferences. He cuts corners, I admitted. Perfect. What else? Credit cards, loans, any financial irregularities? I don't know. I'm not involved in his finances. But you co-signed his student loans, didn't you? And the car loan for his BMW? My stomach dropped. How did you know that? Because that's what desperate parents do. They co-sign things they can't afford because their kids guilt them into it, which means you have legal access to his financial records as a co-signer. And I'm willing to bet those records will show some very interesting spending patterns. I'm not spying on my son. You're protecting yourself from a lawsuit that could cost you everything. There's a difference. Victor pulled out a folder. Here's what I propose. We investigate Jason's finances, his business practices, his wife's background. We find leverage. Then we let them know that if they pursue legal action against you, we'll use that leverage to destroy them. Mutually assured destruction. They leave you alone. You leave them alone. That's blackmail. That's negotiation. And it works. He slid the folder across the desk. These are information release forms. Sign them, and I'll handle everything. You won't have to do anything except wait. I stared at the papers. Everything in me screamed to walk out, to refuse, to stay on the moral high ground. But the moral high ground doesn't pay legal bills. I signed. 3 weeks passed. Victor called every few days with updates that made my skin crawl. Jason's expense reports are a gold mine. He's been billing personal trips as business expenses for 2 years. That's fraud against his employer. Samantha has 3 credit cards maxed out, all in her name only. She's been hiding debt from your son. Approximately $40,000. Jason's BMW is about to be repossessed. He's 4 payments behind. Did you know he stopped making payments after the wedding? I didn't know any of it. I thought my son was successful, responsible. Instead, he was a house of cards, one strong wind from collapse. What are you going to do with this information? I asked during one call. Nothing yet. We're building a file. When they sue, and they will sue, we'll present everything to their attorney. Show them what happens if they pursue this. Most lawyers will convince their clients to drop it rather than face mutual destruction. And if they don't drop it? Silence on the line. Victor? Then we leak it, anonymously, to his employer, to credit agencies, to anyone who'll listen. Your son's life falls apart, but you stay clean because you're not the source. I am. That's still wrong. That's survival, David. You wanted protection. This is what protection looks like. I hung up feeling sick. The lawsuit came 4 weeks after the wedding. Jason and Samantha were suing me for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and interference with business relationships. They wanted $200,000 in damages plus attorney fees. I called Victor immediately. I got the papers too, he said calmly. Time to deploy our countermeasures. Can you come to the office tomorrow? What are you going to do? Win. The next day, Victor had everything laid out on his conference table like a military operation. Photos, bank statements, emails, phone records, my son's life dissected and displayed. Their attorney is Mitchell Green, decent lawyer but not exceptional. I've worked with him before. He'll understand what we're showing him. Which is? That his clients are liars with serious credibility problems. Look at this. He pointed to a bank statement. Jason deposited $12,000 3 days before the wedding. Source unknown. That's suspicious activity. Then there's Samantha's deleted social media posts. We recovered them, where she talks about trapping a rich guy and playing the long game. Not exactly the innocent bride narrative they're pushing. You hacked her social media? I hired someone who knows how to recover deleted content. There's a difference, and it's all admissible if we do it right. He pulled out more papers. Jason's performance reviews at work show multiple warnings about ethical violations. His supervisor has documented concerns about his expense reports. If we subpoena those records in discovery, his employer will have to turn them over, which means his employer will find out about all the fraudulent expenses, which means he gets fired. You're going to get him fired? I'm going to make sure their attorney knows we can get him fired. Then he'll advise them to drop the lawsuit. And if they don't? Victor's smile was cold. Then yes, we get him fired. We expose Samantha's debt. We ruin their credit. We make their lives so miserable they wish they'd never heard your name. That's how you win, David. Not by playing fair, by being willing to go further than your opponent. I felt something dark and ugly uncoil in my chest. Part of me wanted to stop this. Part of me wanted to walk away and let Jason sue me, let him win, because that would be the right thing to do. Do it, I said. Mitchell Green's office was across town, smaller than Victor's, but still professional. He was mid-50s, tired eyes, rumpled suit. He looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Mr. Reeves, Mr. Mitchell, thank you for coming. We sat across from him. Victor placed a thick folder on the desk. We're here to discuss dismissal, Victor said. Green frowned. My clients have a strong case. Your client publicly humiliated them, caused severe emotional distress. Your clients committed fraud and assault. My client has video evidence of the assault and audio evidence of conspiracy to commit identity theft. The criminal case is moving forward regardless of civil action, so let's skip the posturing and talk reality. Victor opened the folder. Jason Mitchell has falsified expense reports totaling approximately $38,000 over 24 months. Here are copies. Samantha Mitchell has $42,000 in undisclosed debt and has been using her husband's income to make minimum payments while hiding the accounts. Here are the statements. Jason is currently 4 months behind on his car payment and facing repossession. His employer has documented ethics violations going back 18 months. And Samantha has social media posts, which she deleted but we recovered, discussing how she was trapping a wealthy husband. He slid papers across the desk. Green's face went pale. This is... Where did you get this? Discovery, public records, digital forensics, all completely legal. Victor leaned back. Here's what happens next. If your clients proceed with this lawsuit, we countersue for fraud, malicious prosecution, and abuse of process. We subpoena Jason's employment records, which triggers an internal investigation that results in his termination. We report Samantha's credit card fraud to the banks, which triggers criminal investigations. We leak everything to local media, which destroys what's left of their reputations. By the time we're done, they'll be bankrupt, unemployed, and possibly facing additional criminal charges. You're threatening them. I'm explaining consequences. Your clients made a calculated decision to destroy my client's reputation through a frivolous lawsuit. We're simply showing them what happens when someone fights back with resources and determination. They can walk away now, or they can learn the hard way that revenge is a two-way street. Green looked at the papers, then at us. I need to talk to my clients. You have 24 hours. After that, we file our counterclaims and start the discovery process. We left. In the elevator, I felt my hands shaking. Did you mean all that? About destroying them? Victor looked at me. Every word. And if they don't drop this, we'll do exactly what I promised. Are you ready for that? I thought about Jason, the little boy who used to help me fix cars in the garage, the teenager who'd asked my advice about college, the man who'd looked me in the eye at his wedding and called me a fool in a language he thought I didn't understand. Yes, I said. I'm ready. Jason called that night. I let it go to voicemail. Dad, we need to talk. Green showed me what your lawyer has. You can't do this. You can't destroy my life because you're angry about a misunderstanding. Please, call me back. I deleted it. Emma called the next morning. What the hell are you doing? Protecting myself. By threatening to ruin Jason's career? By digging up dirt on Samantha? This is insane. They sued me for $200,000. Because you humiliated them. Because you got Samantha arrested at her own wedding. Because I stopped them from stealing my apartment. Oh my God, you're such a victim. Everything is always about you, isn't it? Poor David, his kids don't worship him enough. Poor David, he has to actually face consequences for being a controlling asshole. Emma, no, I'm done. Jason's done. You want to be alone? Congratulations, you win. Don't call me again. She hung up. I sat in my studio apartment listening to the silence and felt absolutely nothing. Mitchell Green called Victor at 11 a.m. The lawsuit was withdrawn. Jason and Samantha signed a mutual non-disparagement agreement. They would drop all civil claims. I would not pursue further legal action against them. The criminal charges against Samantha and her family would proceed separately. We won, Victor said when he called me. Why don't I feel like I won? Because winning doesn't feel like movies make it look. It feels empty. But you're safe now. They can't touch you. They hate me. They hated you before. Now they just can't do anything about it. He was right. But it didn't help. The criminal case moved forward. Samantha took a plea deal. 2 years probation, community service, restitution. Her brother got 6 months. Her father got 12 months in county jail for conspiracy to commit fraud. Jason kept his job, barely. His employer suspended him for 2 weeks without pay and put him on probation. He moved out of my old apartment into a smaller place across town. I heard through mutual acquaintances that he and Samantha were working through things. Emma blocked my number. Linda called once, told me I was a cruel man who'd destroyed his own family, then never spoke to me again. I won. I was completely alone. 6 months passed. I went to work, came home, ate dinner alone, watched TV alone, slept alone. My studio apartment felt like a prison cell. Some nights I'd drive past my old apartment, the one Jason had lived in, and see the lights off. New tenants now, strangers living in the place where I'd raised my kids. I thought about calling Emma, apologizing, begging forgiveness. But for what? Protecting myself? Refusing to be stolen from? I did nothing. Then, on a Tuesday in March, my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Mr. Mitchell? This is Detective Sarah Chen from Cleveland PD. I need to speak with you about Jason Mitchell. What happened? Can you come to the station? It's better if we talk in person. The drive took 15 minutes but felt like hours. Detective Chen was mid-30s, professional, her face carefully neutral. Your son was involved in an incident last night. He's fine physically, but he's been arrested. For what? Assault. He attacked his wife's brother, Carlos Torres, put him in the hospital with a broken jaw and 3 cracked ribs. I sat down. Why? Carlos apparently made some comments about your son being weak, about how the whole family was laughing at him for letting his daddy ruin the wedding. Your son snapped. Beat him pretty badly in a parking lot outside a bar. Is Carlos pressing charges? Absolutely. Jason's looking at felony assault. But here's why I called you. She leaned forward. Your son keeps saying this is your fault, that you destroyed his marriage, his reputation, everything. He's talking about finishing what his father started. We're concerned he might try to harm you. He wouldn't. Mr. Mitchell, he put a man in the hospital because that man insulted him. What do you think he'll do to the person he blames for ruining his entire life? I had no answer. We can't hold him long. Bail hearing is tomorrow. I wanted to warn you. Be careful. Maybe stay somewhere else for a few days. I left the station in a daze. Jason was arrested again. Because of me. Because everything I'd done, everything Victor had helped me do, had pushed my son past his breaking point. I drove home and found Victor waiting in my apartment building's parking lot. How did you know I'd be here? Detective Chen called me too. Professional courtesy. I'm still your attorney of record. He gestured to his car. Get in. We need to talk. I'm tired of talking. David, your son is unraveling. The assault charge, the threats. This is escalating. You need to end it. How? I can't undo what happened. No, but you can give him something to rebuild with. Drop the non-disparagement agreement. Let him tell his side of the story publicly. It won't undo the damage, but it gives him an outlet. So he can lie about me to everyone? So he can move on with his life instead of being consumed by rage? Victor's expression softened slightly. You won, David. You protected yourself, but if you keep pushing, someone's going to get hurt. Maybe Jason. Maybe you. Is that what you want? I don't know what I want anymore. Then let me decide for you. I'll draft a statement releasing him from the agreement. You'll look magnanimous. He'll get to vent. He was right. I knew he was right. But I didn't sign anything. Jason made bail. I knew because Emma called me. First time in 6 months. He's coming for you. Emma. I'm serious, Dad. He called me from jail. He's not stable. He thinks you orchestrated everything just to punish him. He's talking crazy. I didn't orchestrate anything. I defended myself. You destroyed his life. He lost his marriage, his reputation, his dignity. Now he's facing prison time for assault, all because you couldn't just give him the damn apartment. I didn't make him assault anyone. You pushed him until he broke, and now he's going to do something stupid and it's going to be your fault. What do you want me to do, Emma? I want you to fix this. I want my family back. I can't fix this. Then God help you both. She hung up. I called Victor immediately. Jason's out. Emma says he's planning something. I heard. I've already contacted Detective Chen. They're going to do a welfare check. Make sure he's not violating bail conditions. But David, you need to leave town for a few days. Let things cool down. I'm not running from my son. Then you're an idiot. A desperate man is dangerous, and your son is desperate. He won't actually hurt me. You sure about that? I wasn't. But I stayed anyway. 2 days passed. I went to work, came home, locked my door, checked every window, kept my phone close, waited. On the 3rd day, someone knocked. I checked the peephole. Jason stood in the hallway. He looked terrible, unshaven, dark circles under his eyes, clothes wrinkled. But his eyes were clear, focused. I opened the door. Dad! Jason! We stared at each other. Can I come in? Every instinct screamed to say no, to call the police, to protect myself. But he was my son. Yeah, come in. He walked past me into my tiny studio, looked around at my pathetic existence. 400 square feet, a futon, a TV tray table, a hot plate. This is where you live now. Yes. Because you gave me your apartment. Yes. He turned to face me. Why? Because you needed it. Because I'm your father. And then you took it all back. Destroyed my marriage, my reputation, my career. Why? Because you tried to steal from me. Because your wife planned to forge my signature and commit fraud. Because I wasn't going to let you erase me. I didn't know about the forged documents. I swear to God, Dad, I didn't know what Samantha's family was planning. But you knew about taking the apartment permanently. About cutting me out. He looked away. Yeah, I knew about that. Why? Because I was embarrassed. Because all my friends have parents who help them, who give them things, and you were always so poor, so beaten down. I wanted parents I could be proud of, and instead I got a dad who wore the same suit to my wedding that he wore to my high school graduation. The words hit like punches. So you tried to take the only thing I had left. I thought you didn't care. You moved into this place without fighting. I thought you'd just let it happen. I moved here because you guilted me into it. Because you said you needed space to build your life. I thought I was helping you. Jason's face crumpled. I know. God, Dad, I know. And then everything went to hell and I couldn't stop it. Samantha's family got arrested. You hired that lawyer. My boss found out about the expense reports. Samantha's debt came out. It was like watching a building collapse in slow motion. That was Victor, not me. You sicked him on us. I protected myself from your lawsuit. By destroying everything I built. You built it with lies and fraud and stolen money. What did you expect? Jason's hands clenched. I expected my father to love me more than he loved being right. Silence filled the room. Get out, I said quietly. Dad, get out. You blame me for protecting myself from your schemes. You want me to apologize for not letting you steal from me. You think I should have just accepted being erased from my own life. Well, I won't. So get out. Jason stared at me. Then he pulled something from his pocket. A knife. I didn't come here to talk. My heart stopped. Jason, don't. You ruined my life. You turned everyone against me. You made me into a joke, a failure. Someone people laugh about at parties. Did you hear what happened to Jason Mitchell? His own dad destroyed him at his wedding. Put the knife down. Why? So you can call your lawyer? So you can find some new way to humiliate me? Because you're my son, and I love you. You have a hell of a way of showing it. He took a step forward. I didn't move, didn't reach for my phone, didn't try to defend myself. If you need to do this, do it, but you'll go to prison. Real prison, not county jail. Murder, not assault. Is that what you want? I want my life back. I can't give you that. Then what good are you? He lunged. I sidestepped. The knife slashed air where my chest had been. Jason stumbled, caught himself on the futon. Stop! I shouted. He came again. This time I grabbed his wrist, twisted. The knife clattered to the floor. We grappled, crashing into the TV tray. Dishes shattered. Jason was younger, stronger, but I'd worked construction for 30 years. I knew how to use leverage. I got him in a headlock, held him tight. Stop fighting me, please, Jason, just stop. He struggled for another moment, then went limp, sobbing. I hate you, he gasped. I hate you so much. I know. You destroyed everything. You destroyed it first. I just refused to go down with you. I held him while he cried. My son, my broken, angry son. Finally, he pulled away, looked at the knife on the floor. I wasn't going to do it, he whispered. I wanted to scare you, make you understand how it feels. I understand. No, you don't. You won. You're right. I'm wrong. You got your revenge. But you don't understand what it's like to lose everything because your own father decided you weren't worth loving anymore. I never stopped loving you. You hired a lawyer to destroy my life. I hired a lawyer to protect myself from your lawsuit. Everything that happened after was you refusing to walk away. Jason stood, picked up the knife, looked at it. I should turn myself in, attempted assault, violation of bail conditions. They'll send me to prison. Don't. Just go. I won't report this. No, you didn't. You tried to hurt me the way I hurt you, but you couldn't do it. You're just a desperate man who made terrible choices. He stared at me. I don't understand you. I don't understand you either, but you're still my son. So go. Fix your marriage if you can. Pay your debts. Rebuild. Just do it somewhere I don't have to watch. Jason walked to the door, stopped with his hand on the knob. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. About the apartment, about everything. Me too. He left. I locked the door behind him, slid down to the floor, and finally let myself fall apart. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the knife, felt Jason's weight as we struggled, heard him sobbing that he hated me. At 6 a.m., I called Victor. Jason came to see me last night. Did he hurt you? He tried. I stopped him. Jesus Christ, David, why didn't you call the police? Because he's my son. He's a felon on bail who attacked you with a weapon. You should have called immediately. I'm calling you now. What do I do? Silence stretched. Nothing, Victor finally said. You do nothing. If you report it, he goes to prison. If you don't, he stays free, but you stay in danger. Either way, you lose. That's not helpful. I'm not here to be helpful. I'm here to be honest. You've reached the end of legal solutions. What happens next is personal. Meaning you decide what kind of man you want to be. The kind who sends his son to prison, or the kind who lets him go. What would you do? I'd burn him to the ground. But I don't have kids, so my advice is worthless. He hung up. I went to work in a daze, processed orders, reviewed blueprints, pretended everything was normal. My co-workers avoided me. They'd all seen the news, knew about the wedding disaster. I was the crazy old man who'd destroyed his family over an apartment. Maybe they were right. At lunch, I got a text from an unknown number. Dad, it's Emma. Using a friend's phone. Jason told me what happened last night. I'm scared. Please don't send him to prison. I stared at the message. Emma, who'd blocked my number 6 months ago. Emma, who'd called me controlling and abusive. Emma, who'd sided with Jason against me at every turn. Now she wanted mercy. I typed, I'm not pressing charges. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared, appeared again. Thank you. Can we talk? I miss you. My hands shook. Do you miss me, or do you just need me to save Jason again? The dots stopped. I put my phone away. The next 3 days were quiet. Jason didn't contact me. Emma didn't text again. Victor called once to check if I was alive, then left me alone when I said I was fine. I wasn't fine. I couldn't eat. Couldn't focus. Kept replaying every decision, every choice. If I'd just given Jason the apartment, if I'd just ignored the Arabic conversation at the wedding, if I'd just let them sue me and lost gracefully instead of fighting back, would my family still be intact? On Thursday, my supervisor called me into his office. David, we need to talk about your performance. What about it? You've made 3 significant errors in the past week. Wrong measurements on the Johnson project, missed deadline on the Wilson bid, incomplete review of the structural plans for the new hospital wing. That's not like you. I've had some personal issues. I know. Everyone knows. The wedding thing. Look, I'm sympathetic, but we can't have mistakes like this. Lives depend on accurate engineering. I understand. I'm putting you on leave. 2 weeks paid. Get your head straight, then come back ready to work. If the mistakes continue, we'll have to discuss other options. You're firing me. I'm giving you a chance to fix things. Don't waste it. I drove home at 2 p.m. on a Thursday, suspended from my job, estranged from my children, alone in a 400-square-foot box that smelled like old coffee and defeat. I'd won. This is what winning looked like. A week into my suspension, Linda called. David, we need to talk. I don't have anything to say to you. Then listen, Jason's falling apart. He's drinking heavily, not showing up to work. Samantha moved out last week. What do you want me to do? Fix it. You started this. End it. I started this? Linda, Jason tried to steal from me. His wife's family tried to commit fraud. I defended myself. You could have handled it differently. Quietly. As a family. Instead, You went nuclear and destroyed everyone. They destroyed themselves. Always so righteous, always so sure you're right. Did it ever occur to you that maybe you're the problem? That maybe your kids turned out this way because their father taught them that love is conditional? I gave them everything. You gave them money and guilt. Never affection, never approval, just demands and disappointment. Jason spent his whole life trying to earn your respect, and when he made mistakes, you crushed him. He tried to steal my apartment. Because he was desperate. Because he's drowning in debt and his wife's family is in legal trouble and he didn't know what else to do. And instead of helping him, you hired a lawyer to destroy what was left of his life. I'm not responsible for his choices. You're his father. Of course you're responsible. Your job was to guide him, teach him, help him become a better man. Instead, I what? Worked 3 jobs so he could go to college, gave him my apartment so he could save money, paid off his credit cards twice, fixed his car every time it broke? What exactly did I do wrong, Linda? You never loved him. Not really. You loved the idea of being a good father, but you never actually connected with your kids. You were always working, always tired, always somewhere else. And when they disappointed you, and everyone disappoints eventually, you turned cold, just like you're doing now. Get off my phone. Emma wants to see you. I paused. What? She's at my house. She wants to talk. Will you come? Every instinct said no. This was a trap. Linda was manipulating me, using Emma as bait, but it was Emma. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Linda's house was in Shaker Heights, a colonial with perfect landscaping that her new husband's money paid for. Emma's car was in the driveway. I sat for 5 minutes, building courage, then rang the doorbell. Emma answered. She looked thinner, tired. Hi, Dad. Hi, sweetheart. We hugged. She felt fragile in my arms. Linda watched from the living room doorway. I'll give you two some privacy. I'll be upstairs. She left. Emma led me to the kitchen, poured coffee I didn't want. Jason tried to hurt you. He was angry. He didn't mean it. He pulled a knife on his father. That's not anger. That's something broken inside. You broke it, Dad. The words hung between us. You really believe that? I don't know what to believe anymore. I thought you were the bad guy, the controlling father who ruined Jason's wedding out of spite. But then I saw how Jason's been acting. The drinking, the rage, the self-destruction. That's not because of you. That's because of who he is. So why am I here? Because I need to understand. Why did you fight so hard? Why couldn't you just let it go? I looked at my daughter, really looked at her, saw the confusion, the hurt, the desperate need for answers. Because if I let it go, I disappear. Your brother takes my apartment, then my house, then whatever else he wants, and I become nothing, a ghost who exists to make his life easier. I couldn't let that happen. But you're our father. Isn't that what fathers do? Sacrifice? I sacrificed for 27 years. I gave up my career advancement to spend time with you. I gave up relationships because dating seemed selfish when you needed me. I gave up my dreams, my savings, my youth. And I did it gladly because you were my kids and I loved you. But love isn't supposed to be erasure, Emma. I'm allowed to exist too. She looked down at her coffee. Jason says you never loved us. Jason's wrong. He says you only loved the idea of being a good father, that you kept score of everything you gave us and resented us for needing it. I never resented you. Didn't you? Even a little? I thought about all the double shifts, the missed vacations, the car I drove for 15 years because I couldn't afford a new one, the studio apartment I lived in now because I'd given everything else away. Maybe sometimes, but that's normal. Parents sacrifice, and sometimes it hurts. That doesn't mean the love isn't real. Emma's eyes filled with tears. I don't know how to fix this. Jason won't talk to me unless I agree that you're the villain. You won't talk to Jason unless he admits he was wrong. And I'm stuck in the middle, losing both of you. I'm right here. For how long? Until I disappoint you too? Until I need something you don't want to give? That's not fair. None of this is fair. You're my dad. You're supposed to make things better, not worse. I can't fix Jason's life, Emma. Only he can do that. But you could stop making it harder. You could drop the non-disparagement agreement. You could talk to his boss, tell him Jason's a good employee going through a rough time. You could help instead of punishing. And what does Jason do for me? Apologize? Promise to change? Or does he just take what I give and keep hating me? Emma stood up. This was a mistake. I thought maybe you'd changed. That maybe losing everything would make you human again. But you're still keeping score, still measuring love in transactions. Emma, wait. No, I'm done. I tried. I really tried. But you're right. You're allowed to exist. And so am I. Away from this. She walked out. I sat in Linda's kitchen, alone again, wondering how many times I could lose my daughter. Victor called the next morning with news. Jason's been fired. His employer found additional irregularities in his expense reports. The suspension from before turned into a full investigation, and they found enough evidence to terminate for cause. How bad? Bad enough that he might face criminal charges. We're talking $50,000 in fraudulent expenses over 3 years. That's felony embezzlement. You said you'd only use that information if they didn't drop the lawsuit? They dropped it. I didn't give it to his employer. Someone else must have. An anonymous tip, maybe. Or his employer did their own investigation after the suspension. Either way, he's done. I felt sick. This is my fault. This is Jason's fault. He committed fraud. Actions have consequences. But if I hadn't pushed... David, stop. You didn't make him steal from his company. You didn't make him assault his brother-in-law. You didn't make him pull a knife on you. Those were his choices. Bad choices with predictable consequences. Then why do I feel like the villain? Because you're a father, and fathers always think they can fix their children. But you can't. Some people are broken, and no amount of love or sacrifice will change that. Jason's not broken. He's just lost. He's a 30-year-old man who committed multiple felonies because he felt entitled to things that weren't his. That's not lost. That's broken. I hung up without saying goodbye. The rest of the day passed in a blur. I tried to read, tried to watch TV, tried to do anything except think about Jason facing criminal charges. At 8 p.m., someone knocked on my door. Not Jason this time. Samantha. She looked different. No makeup, hair pulled back, wearing jeans and a sweatshirt instead of her usual carefully curated outfits. She looked real. Can I come in? Why? Because I owe you an apology, a real one. I let her in. She looked around my studio apartment, and I saw guilt flash across her face. This is where you live. Yes. Because Jason took your apartment. Because I let him have it. There's a difference. She sat on my futon. I was pregnant at the wedding. I stared at her. What? 2 months. I didn't know how to tell Jason. My family kept pushing me to lock down the marriage before he found out, before anything could go wrong. That's why we rushed the wedding. Why my family was so aggressive about securing assets. They were trying to protect me. By committing fraud? By making sure my baby had a stable home, but they went too far. The forged documents, the plan to take your house. I didn't know about all of it until after the arrests, I swear. What happened to the baby? I miscarried. 3 weeks after the wedding. All that stress, all that fighting, my body just gave up. I'm sorry. Don't be. It was probably for the best. Jason and I are a disaster. We were never going to work. He loved you. He loved the idea of me. Perfect wife, perfect life, perfect escape from being David Mitchell's disappointment son. She looked at me. He talked about you constantly, how you judged him, how you made him feel small, how he could never be good enough. I never said that. You didn't have to. He felt it anyway. Then he felt wrong. Did he? Really? Because from where I'm sitting, you've spent the past year proving him right. He disappointed you, and you destroyed him. That's what good enough looks like in the Mitchell family. I defended myself from theft and fraud. You could have just said no, just refused to give him the apartment and walked away. Instead, you hired Victor Reeves, the most ruthless attorney in Cleveland, and systematically dismantled everything Jason built. That's not defense. That's revenge. What do you want from me, Samantha? I want you to know what you did. Jason's unemployed, facing criminal charges, drowning in debt he can't pay. His marriage is over. His sister won't talk to him. His mother thinks he's a failure. He has nothing left, and he blames himself, which is somehow worse than blaming you. Good. He should blame himself. You really believe that? He made his choices. So did you. You chose revenge over reconciliation, punishment over forgiveness, victory over family. Those were choices, too. She stood to leave. Why are you telling me this? Because someone should. Because Emma won't. She's too busy trying to stay neutral. Because Linda won't. She's too angry at you for the divorce. Because Jason can't. He's too broken. So it has to be me, the daughter-in-law who slapped you and started this whole nightmare. You're not responsible for this. Neither are you. Not completely. But you're both responsible for what happens next. Whether this family stays broken or finds a way to heal. And right now, you're choosing broken. She left. I sat alone in my apartment, her words echoing. You're choosing broken. Was I? Or was broken all I had left? I didn't sleep. Couldn't. Kept thinking about Samantha's words. About Emma's disappointment. About Jason pulling a knife with tears streaming down his face. At 3 a.m., I made a decision. I called Victor. David, it's 3 a.m. I need you to do something. What? Contact Jason's former employer. Tell them I'll testify on his behalf if they pursue criminal charges. Tell them the irregularities in his expense reports were partly my fault. I put pressure on him to maintain a lifestyle he couldn't afford, and he made bad choices trying to keep up appearances. That's not true. It's true enough. I did put pressure on him. Maybe not intentionally, but the result was the same. David, if you do this, you open yourself up to liability, civil suits, maybe criminal conspiracy charges if they decide you were involved. I don't care. You should care. This is your life. My life is already destroyed. Maybe I can save his. Silence on the line. You're sure? Yes. Then I'll make the call. But David, this doesn't fix everything. Jason still assaulted someone, still pulled a knife on you, still made terrible choices that can't be undone. I know, but maybe it gives him a chance to rebuild. That's all I can offer. Victor agreed to help. By morning, he'd contacted Jason's former employer. They agreed to drop the criminal investigation in exchange for Jason paying back the fraudulent expenses over 5 years plus interest. It would be financially devastating, but it kept him out of prison. I called Emma next. Dad? I talked to Victor. Jason won't face criminal charges for the expense report issues, but he has to pay everything back. Silence. Why would you do that? Because he's my son, and I'm tired of fighting. What do you want in return? Nothing. I don't want anything except for you to know that I love you, both of you. Even when I'm angry, even when I'm hurt, I love you. Emma started crying. I don't understand you. I don't understand me either, but I'm trying to be better, to choose healing instead of broken. Is that even possible after everything that happened? I don't know, but I want to try. Jason won't talk to you. He's too ashamed. Then tell him I'm here when he's ready. No conditions, no demands, just here. Okay, I'll tell him. Emma? Yeah? I'm sorry. For everything. For not being the father you needed. For making you feel like you had to choose sides. For all of it. I'm sorry too, Dad. For not believing you about the fraud. for taking Jason's side when I should have listened to yours, for cutting you out. We both made mistakes. That's what families do. Can I come see you? Like, actually visit? Not just talk on the phone? I'd like that. She came over that afternoon. We sat in my tiny apartment drinking coffee, and for the first time in a year, I felt like I had a daughter again. Jason's living in Mom's basement, she told me. He's a mess, barely functioning. Samantha filed for divorce last week. I heard. He asks about you sometimes. Wants to know if you hate him. I don't hate him. But you don't forgive him either. I thought about that. I'm working on it. Forgiveness is hard when the wounds are still fresh. He says the same thing about you. Then maybe we're more alike than either of us wants to admit. Emma smiled sadly. That's what Mom always said, that you and Jason were the same person in different decades. Stubborn, proud, unable to back down once you'd committed to a position. Your mom was smarter than I gave her credit for. She still cares about you, you know, in her own way. She has a funny way of showing it. You hurt her when you gave everything to us instead of building a life with her. She felt like she came second to your guilt about being a divorced dad. She probably did. I was so worried about being a good father that I forgot how to be a good partner. That's the most honest thing you've ever said to me. We talked for hours, about the past, about mistakes, about the future. It didn't fix everything, but it was a start. When she left, she hugged me tight. I love you, Dad. I love you too, sweetheart. 2 weeks passed. I went back to work, focused on being careful, being accurate, being present. My supervisor noticed. Better, he said after reviewing my latest project. Whatever you did, keep doing it. Just trying to get my head straight. It's working. Emma visited twice more. We didn't talk about Jason. She'd said her piece, and now it was up to him. I didn't push. Then, on a Thursday evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Dad? It's Jason. I sat down. Hi, son. Emma said you helped with the embezzlement thing, that you testified on my behalf. I told the truth, that I put pressure on you and you made mistakes trying to live up to expectations. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did. You're my son. Silence stretched between us. I'm sorry, he finally said. For everything. For the apartment. For the wedding. For pulling a knife on you. All of it. I was angry and stupid and desperate, and I took it out on the one person who actually gave a damn about me. You weren't completely wrong. I did keep score, did measure love in transactions. I thought providing was the same as caring, and it isn't. But you did care, and I threw it back in your face because I was embarrassed by how hard you had to work. That's on me, not you. We both made mistakes. Yeah, but mine were worse. I smiled despite myself. I'm not going to argue about who screwed up more. That's a competition neither of us wants to win. Jason laughed. Actually laughed. Fair point. How are you doing? Really? Terrible. Unemployed, divorced, broke, living in Mom's basement. But I'm sober. 3 weeks now, and I'm seeing a therapist, trying to figure out why I'm such a disaster. That's good. Really good. The payment plan for the expense stuff is brutal. $500 a month for 5 years. I don't know how I'll manage it without a job. You'll find something. You're smart and capable when you're not self-destructing. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I mean it. Another pause. Emma says you're living in a studio apartment, 400 square feet. It's enough. It's not. You gave up everything for us, and we took it all. That's not right. It's done. I'm not asking for anything back. I know, but I want to give something anyway. The apartment. Your old apartment. The lease is up next month. I'm not renewing. You should take it back. Jason, please, let me do this one thing that isn't completely selfish. Take the apartment. It's yours. It was always yours. What about you? Where will you live? I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll stay with Mom longer. Maybe I'll find a roommate situation. But you shouldn't be in a studio apartment because I'm an entitled asshole. Okay, thank you. Don't thank me, just take it. And maybe someday we can have coffee or something. Not now. I'm not ready. But someday. I'll be here when you are. I know. That's what scares me. What do you mean? That you're still here after everything I did. That you still answer the phone. That you still call me son. I don't deserve that. Love isn't about deserving. It's about choosing. And I choose to love you. Even when it's hard. Even when you make it impossible. Jason's voice cracked. I don't know how to fix this. One day at a time. That's all any of us can do. Okay. One day at a time. He hung up. I sat holding my phone, feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. I moved back into my old apartment on a Saturday in May. Emma helped me pack the few things I'd accumulated in the studio. Jason didn't come, but he'd left the place clean. Empty, but clean. He scrubbed everything, Emma said, looking around. Floors, walls, even the inside of the cabinets. Took him 3 days. He didn't have to do that. He wanted to, said it was the least he could do. I walked through the rooms. 2 bedrooms, a real kitchen, actual living space. It felt enormous after a year in 400 square feet. You okay, Dad? Yeah, just remembering. Good memories? Mostly. You and Jason fighting over the bathroom. Homework at the kitchen table. Movie nights on the couch. Back when things were simpler. They weren't simpler. You were just better at hiding the hard parts. Maybe. Emma helped me unpack. We worked in comfortable silence, putting my life back together one box at a time. When we finished, she made coffee and we sat on the couch. The same couch where I'd read bedtime stories 20 years ago. Jason's applying for jobs, she said. Nothing fancy. Retail, mostly. Just something to make payments on the restitution. That's good. He's embarrassed. $40,000 pharmacy degree, and he's applying to manage a Gap store. Honest work is honest work. You sound like Grandpa. Your grandpa was a smart man. He also died alone because he was too stubborn to apologize to anyone. Is that your way of telling me something? I'm just saying. Pride is expensive. Sometimes it costs you everything. I apologized to Jason. On the phone. After a year of destroying each other. That's not exactly falling over yourself to make amends. What do you want me to do, Emma? I want you to call him. Not when he calls you, actually call him, check in. Ask how he's doing. Be his dad instead of his former adversary waiting for an olive branch. He said he needed space. That was 3 weeks ago. He's had space. Now he needs to know you actually care. She was right. After Emma left, I stared at my phone for 20 minutes. Then I called. Jason answered on the 3rd ring. Dad? Hey, just calling to check in. See how you're doing. I'm okay. Surprised to hear from you. Emma said you're job hunting. How's it going? Slowly. Turns out having an arrest record and a termination for cause doesn't look great on applications. What about your pharmacy degree? Hospitals, clinics, anything? Blacklisted. Word gets around in the industry. Nobody wants to hire the guy who embezzled from his employer. What about something outside pharmacy? Different field entirely. Like what? I don't know. What do you like doing? Silence. Dad, are you asking about my interests? Yes. Why? Because I realized I don't actually know. I know what you studied in college. I know what job you had, but I don't know what you actually enjoy. More silence. I like woodworking, Jason finally said. Building things with my hands. I took a class in high school and loved it, but you said it wasn't a real career, so I went into pharmacy like you suggested. I didn't know you wanted to do woodworking. I never told you. You seemed so excited about pharmacy, stable career, good money, respectable. I didn't want to disappoint you. So you've spent 10 years in a career you hate. Pretty much. I closed my eyes. I'm sorry. For what? For pushing you toward pharmacy, for making you feel like you couldn't follow your own path, for caring more about stability than happiness. Dad, you were trying to help. You wanted me to have a better life than you did. I wanted you to have a secure life. That's not the same thing as better. I'm 30 years old. It's too late to start over as a woodworker. Why? Because I have $50,000 in debt, a criminal record, and no experience. Nobody's going to hire me. Then don't get hired. Start your own business. Do custom furniture, cabinets, whatever. Build a reputation. With what money? I have some savings. Not much, but enough to get you started. Tools, materials, maybe first month's rent on a workshop space. Why would you do that? After everything? Because you're my son. And I want you to be happy, not just secure. I can't take your money again. It's not taking, it's investing. In you, in your future. No strings attached. Jason didn't answer for a long moment. I don't know what to say. Say you'll think about it. That's all I'm asking. Okay, I'll think about it. Good. That's good. Dad? Yeah? Thank you. For calling. For not giving up. That's what dads do.